Okay, welcome back. In this video, we're going to go ahead and just finish up a couple of more things. Just do a demonstration of getting some glow wires out of this and do a little bit of a translucency around here to have a little bit of fun with the eye, just to show you another way we can do some things. So where we last left off, we left off with a little bit of the eyeliner being textured in. Remember, if you need to do anything else, like for example go into the head map and subtract away some of the eyeliner so that you can kind of see some of the eyelashes go on ahead. One thing I feel like I'm probably doing an update is maybe make some longer eyelashes by making bigger cards so we can have more real estate. Alright, so with that said, let's go ahead and finish up this last piece in the transparency map. And we got two eyelash shadows here, so let me go ahead and just drag these in to a folder and call it eyelashes. And now we're going to do the same thing we did over here just with this, but instead of color, we're going to paint it through as emissive. So what that means is I'm going to add a fill layer. You're going to notice in that fill layer there's no sort of emissive channel, so we got to bring that in. And to do that, we're going to have to go through texture set settings, into channel where the plus sign is, and add an emissive, and you'll see an emissive pop up right there. I'm going to turn everything else off except for the emissive, and we're just going to kind of turn it all glowy. Kind of like that. That's kind of a cool look as well. But unfortunately, we have to, for the sake of context, we have to keep this somewhat workable to the color. Now, you'll have to turn on your post effects. Oh, great. Now that looked much better. This is our Super Saiyan cyberpunk character, just so we're all familiar with it. We can kind of go through all sorts of haze and just have some fun with it. Maybe that we can do that down the road. If you want to do texturing, I'd love to see your color, but unfortunately we're going to have to stick with what we got. I feel now I'm giving you a lesser version of this. We're teaching you this to show control and tricks on texturing in Substance Painter, so bear that in mind. Alright, so add a black mask. Unfortunately, we're covering it all up, I know. So let's go through and try to bring back just this texture here. We can do so with the UVs or the mesh fill. I'll do it through the UVs and we kind of see what we got here. Is something that we can kind of look at and say, hey, that's pretty cool. But for now, I'm going to probably go with a color that's maybe something like that. And now that I see what I have, I'm just going to go ahead and hit black mask again. Now, it's just like with eyelashes. We make another fill layer, and again, we put color out and all the other channels out except for opacity. We turn that off. It covers up everything, so let's make sure it only covers up and does opacity to this wire instead. So we add a black mask, and then we go through and we go through the selection tools, and we can probably just see it update like so. Like that. So with that said, we can now go back up here, go into paint, and then we could just kind of switch to a really small area and paint some effects in here. So it's a little bit hard to see right now on here, and that might be because we have a second here. There it is. We might be dealing with an issue where we're supposed to have opacity either above, like that. Forgot to turn that on. So what we're going to keep doing is I'm just going to kind of go through and I'm just going to paint some textures in, like so. Don't worry if you hit anything, just paint some cool textures. Alright, so when you have all that taken care of, go ahead and clean up everything you've accidentally touched. And no, not like that, like that. And once you do that, let's go back and paint in and start having it go underneath these nodules here. So to do that, we'll just kind of make it kind of go through here underneath, as you can see, like so. So if anyone's a little confused about how it all works, again, it works where this opacity is basically governing everything that is being seen through the emissive effect. And we are then below it, we have everything that is invisible. So in the end, only this top layer is going to be visibly seen, and the mask is going to be including all over it. So let's see here. So we kind of have ourselves a little bit of fun there. Just a little bit more of an effect process that we can kind of put through. If you want to do any more painting, you know, you feel free to. It's kind of a fun little process. Now that we have that taken care of, do a quick little render to see how that kind of plays out. It looks alright. You can kind of see how it kind of adds a little bit of a bloom or a glow. Make sure, speaking of glow, that we have what we want. Bloom. Let's get back out. So, with that said, we have that taken care of. That's how you do the fibers. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off temporarily, and we're going to go through and we're going to just do a quick little demonstration of the opacity with the head. Make sure to go through your shader settings, and you have PBR Metal Blender, and make sure to go through texture set settings and have an opacity channel for what we're about to do next. So in this one, we're just going to simply do a fill layer. And all I'm doing in this fill layer is that if we go all the way through, it's just going to go to black. And I'm just going to call this one translucent. If I put a mask over it, it comes back in like so. And if we just kind of go with a really low setting, there is a polygon model of the iris in here. So, you know, if you want, you can do some deal like where, you know, you can make a little quick blue-ish looking piece. And then make sure that it affects this piece here. And now we can just simply paint it in slowly. You can kind of see how it kind of updates a little bit. It looks a little clear, like there isn't anything there, but trust me, there is. You can kind of see, I'm just kind of with a low stroke opacity blending the front texture in with the back texture. do a quick little render here. We can kind of see sort of like everything kind of falling off in the back there. Now, one thing I'd like to point out, and this is something that I might do in the down the road, is that there are some things we can do. We can put like a plane or a polygon plane card in there, like an Iris 1 card. Let me see if that. Yeah, I think that's the Iris 1 card. You can probably do something like where we kind of paint this black, and just go ahead and show you what I mean by that, because I believe I pointed a polygon strip in there, but just made the whole thing black, and the roughness just pitch black, and then I added a black mask. And then I just had it go right there. So it kind of sees a little bit something like that. So you can kind of see a little bit more of a iris looking color kind of go through. But you know, that's just for like help you out in case you're looking for something that has a little bit more of a translucence to it. Don't seem to have a... that in, going to our emissive, and then let's do a quick render. Real quick, just getting it just a little bit more so you can see it easier. So you can kind of see there's like a little bit more of a blend between the front layer and then the back layer. You can kind of do some things. So like, for example, you can paint in a some bump detail onto the iris, and you can do quite a few things on here. So that's sort of to help you out with understanding and making that a little bit easier. Now, I personally would say that my preference is still to do things hand painted. Because the way I have the light in here for how it goes over the hair, you can't really tell the difference between the two unless you're really up close and you're like looking at it sideways. You know, one of the things that also has to take into account is that you're probably not ever going to, you gotta like think about what is the function of what this is going to be doing. Is your plan to do an up close render? Is your plan to do a game object? If that's the case, then do some texturing, just hand paint texture the character's eyes. But if it's going to be an up close render, well then let's plan for some built-in iris that goes behind the whites of the eye, which scapula, I can't seem to remember it, it's slipping my head. And you know, you just plan for a lot of ways. There's just a lot of ways to model out a character and a lot of different approaches in terms of rendering it out. So all those things you want to keep in mind as you're going through all of this. So with that said, the next thing we're going to do, real quick, I'll just kind of drag a little smart material around that section. The next thing that we're going to be doing is going to be the skin, and that's going to be sort of like our final step. And at this point, feel free to do anything to like add more to it. Like maybe down the road I might put like little strips of like little cybernetic looking patterns kind kind of like techno looking patterns coming down from the eye or something like that. You know, all those things you can do.